How you going? My bro wants me to polish his concrete slab, so I'm doing it for sweet F and a whole lot of resentment. This is the tool we're going to use to do it. So kind of like sanding back timber, just takes a lot longer to do. So I built this backyard for him. A lot of love. But what we did back in the day was we put this what used to be a nice non-slip finish, and the kids have been grinding the hell out of it. And the plan was to travertine or put some kind of nice tile over it, but that was 13 years ago now, Adrian, something like that. So we thought, while we've been exploiting our family member, let's exploit a little further and we'll just polish it. And I thought, well, that's a really good idea. So this is pre-polish. So what we've decided to go with is 32 grit grinding pads. These things come in varying coarseness. These ones are going to get us through the cut as speedily as we want to and leave us with the finish that we want as well. Now what we're trying to do here with the water is wash away the slurry, which is what the diamond tools are creating. It's the little particles of dust, concrete dust. If we don't get rid of that, then it is effectively going to create a barrier between the concrete that we want to cut and the diamond tools. So it's going to slow down the process a whole lot if we don't wash that away. As you can see, we've done most of the primary cut before we decided to mess around with some heavy bricks, and it's made a big difference. I have done it before, I just forgot. What we're looking at here, is pretty close to the getting a result. So thanks to the discovery of adding bricks to the machine, you might be able to rest on the couch in a couple of hours or so. What do you think, bro? So we've done our first pass, but we spent a little bit of time at the end of the first pass to arrive at what we're looking at here. It's still quite gritty, so it might be hard to tell right now, but it's still quite, it's like sandpaper. It looks very shiny, but it's actually quite rough. And what we do with these edges, because we can't get closer than like 30 mil with this machine, we've got a little handheld one that takes us the rest of the way. Well, it's day 2 of Happy Fun Time grinding. That's day 2, right? So I'm not finished yet, but this is what it looks like unsealed. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this with this tiny little camera, but there's all these little pinholes that cut concrete. We call this cut because we've ground the surface off. Cut concrete is especially porous, so if you don't seal this, it is going to suffer greatly. Bird shit, green leaves will leach into it. It will be a really, really messy job. More so, much more so than a normal concrete slab that has been prettied up with a non-slip finish. that action of using tools to put that pattern on is closing that surface. It is still porous, but it is not looking like this. This is, you get magnifying glass and you will see this as being very similar to a sponge. Quite literally, you can see the little holes, so it just sucks everything in. So unsealed, looks like this. When we use our lacquer, it'll basically look wet. It'll look nice and rich in color. Okay, job done. There's a few interesting things that happen when you do this kind of stuff. Stuff like this. Now that could have been from our knee boards, the things that we sit on when we're putting a finish on the concrete. We can impression the stones and push them in a little deeper in one area than another. But that kind of can add to the charm. That it's, you know, imperfect. It's a raw material. And the way it looks now is pretty much the way it's going to look when it is sealed. It's going to have a wet look and it's going to pop. So the dark stones, which is actually just blue metal, is actually going to appear black or blackish charcoal. And the grey is kind of industrial grey, but it looks kind of neat these days up against other earthy materials like timber and glass. It looks good. So this is honed concrete, not polished. Polished is another couple of steps ahead of this, which is hard to see with the camera, but it's actually got tool marks in the surface, so little kind of scratches, and there's other processes you go through to remove those scratches. You can even fill those tiny little pinholes with another product and you can have it looking like a glass table, but that's not often what you have outside. So honed concrete, still got a bit of a gritty non-slip finish. Well, then we're going to lacquer it, so it might make it slippery again when there's water on it, but for now it's kind of gritty. So, this is how you hone concrete.